I wanted to talk about this existential loneliness that I feel, but I don't know where it leads me. It feels like I can take so many roads to this topic, but why it matters to me today? I think it's because, well, first of all, I do feel it now. I feel it occasionally, and I think I feel this existential loneliness every time I detach from a certain false idea in my head, from a certain expectation that I created of others. And as I let go of those expectations and I detach from them, like in layers, it's like I'm peeling layers of distortion of how I see things. And the more I see people as they are, not as I want them to be, and I think this is the case in I want to say all relationships or most of the relationships, like literally maybe all of them, with very few exceptions. We create this image of the other, and then well, it depends on a person. Some very aggressively demand a real person to match that image. That's one thing. Some try to somehow absorb the disappointment of a mismatch. Yet still they have the image, but they are struggling from the mismatch. They try not to burden the other person, but they kind of absorb it. And I think I was in that category. I think I had a phase when I demanded things, but it's not that much in my character to, let's say, make other person like forcefully do something for me. It was for me. It was more like my pain. I could have shared that pain, but I always did my best not to, let's say, not to force other person in anything that I want. And it's not the most productive thing as well. And again, I still think that forcing people into doing things is not the best approach. Yet, for me personally, led to a different type of extreme. So I never actually showed what I wanted, and I hid myself completely and removed my needs completely, and to the point that I'm still trying to figure out what I want in connection or relationship with other human being, regardless of the type of a relationship. I'm just figuring it out for different types of relationships. So, but there is another way of seeing. So having an image of someone, regardless of how far that image from reality, I feel like we all have that image when we are in relationship, and either we try to drag person closer to that image, or we get hurt because of the mismatch, or we're kind of balancing it. So it depends. It depends, but the image is always present. What I'm trying to do is get rid of that image completely. Will I ever be successful? I don't know. But what I see now, first of all, it helps loving people as a basis, like on a universal level, as a baseline, as a just feeling that comes first. It helps. Then it does something else. So it kind of ruins the whole structure of romantic or whatever, like selection, romantic selection, romantic choice. At least for me now, it's like ruined, which is not a bad thing. I don't mind it. So something new will emerge. Also, it kind of recalibrates everything else. So what happens when I see people as they are? First of all, I see their beauty. I see how amazing they are. Also, I see their potential. Also, I see where they don't live up to that potential. Does it make me right? No. Because there is this thing as freedom of choice, and nobody should care what I think and or what I see, so it's fine. I don't know what to do with that quality of mine that I see the potential. I kind of, just as I look at my life and I scan everything that I am, everything that may be going on unnoticed, all the interests, all the traits, and I'm trying to connect the dots and put it in the whole picture so that I'm fully expressed, I'm fully realized, and therefore fulfilled, and like my life feels full. That doesn't necessarily make it easier. Like, it doesn't make it easier. But it makes the hardness fulfilling, not devastating, but fulfilling. So choose your heart. However, when I see those things for myself, it's my own thing. I can test it. I can see how it feels. I can see whether that is true or change something. When it comes to other people, I'm very careful. It's not like I'm not saying that I see all the truth in every people, in every human being. I may or may not. If they will ever want to, let's say, trust my vision or what I see about their potential and test it, that's good. We'll see. Like, I'm open to that, hypothetically. But I have stuff to do. I have my life to live, so it's not that I'm desperately eager to fix someone else's life. More so, I think it's not as productive as when a person does it themselves. They have more time, more control, more understanding, more access to the self than me, so whatever. Anyway, so I see all of those things, and that makes actually all people equal. And how do you choose someone, specifically for a romantic relationship, when you see beauty in all, value in all? Yeah, there is a match or a mismatch of interests, but I'm good with my interests. Like I still, the most important part, nobody can do that for me or instead of me or even with me. So the most fulfilling part of everything that I do is on me anyway. And no, I have not met a person who would match all of my interests. They just match it partially, like 30% of that. So that 30%, another 30%, another 15%, like it's all the same to me. Yet I care about people, yet I appreciate them. And I see mismatch, and I see all the differences, and I see things that I am doing and they are choosing not to, which creates a bit of a tension, and it led to a deep disappointment. Like, there was a time, and I think it kind of still lingers in a way, that when I felt simultaneously deepest love for a person in front of me and deepest disappointment in how they navigate their lives. And again, I know, I have always known, I still know it's very much unfair of me, but I am a human. I feel what I feel, and certain things need to be felt, and then they will just go away naturally, or I can work on those things, on those ideas, and let them go intentionally, so it doesn't matter how they go away, but they go. But that disappointment, that bitterness with deepest love and deepest pain of disappointment, that was fun. No, not really. That was deeply uncomfortable, but I still feel a tiny bit of that. But mostly I feel confused, but in a predictable way. Like, I know this emptiness when perception of something shifts. And I'm in this process intentionally. I'm in this process for a very long time. I've gotten used to it. So when the perception shifts, there is the emptiness. Like, there must be a certain reaction, and you expect that reaction from yourself, but it isn't there. And the whole system, mind, body, like all the sensors, they're confused because you know your history, you know how you would react, but you don't feel that anymore, and there is no new pattern, like no new understanding how that could possibly feel. This is how I feel about romantic relationships right now. I'm learning how to build connections from the place that I'm at, from my values, my new how I see the world currently compared to previous. So I don't judge. So probably I won't be able to connect as deep as I would prefer with the person who is judgmental, who chooses that. Doesn't mean they may be the most amazing person. I have that immediately. A certain person popped up in my head. The most talented, gorgeous human being, but they choose judgment. And unfortunately, we don't talk to each other. We respect each other at a certain distance, but and I admire that. I have always admired. I will always admire that person. But it's for the best that we don't communicate, because there is a complete misunderstanding. We do not understand each other, and this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. That was such a bizarre experience to talk to someone. It seems like I know the language well enough, but it seems like we're speaking different tongues, even though it's English, and it's just the perception is so different. And with my admiration of a person, all their talents and traits, and how they do what they do, with that like this mismatch combined with that was such a disorienting experience. So I'm getting used to, with every new iteration, and it's the same lesson that I'm learning, like layer by layer, every next layer it becomes easier in a way. I'm like, okay, I do recognize it now. It's a softer situation. Now it's as the same mismatch. I still feel it. It's still there, but it's smoother. It's like not as painful, not as coarse, not as I don't even know. I'm trying to describe the feeling. It's not bothering me that much. And frankly, with every, let's say, layer of new perception, or of moving towards what I am choosing to learn in life, and that means seeing everyone equally and loving everyone equally, but simultaneously like holding a boundary that allows people to feel my presence in a way and support, but does not invite them to tear my life apart and to take all of my time, or just it's not my intention to dissolve in others, because I think or give myself away piece by piece. I think many people do in close relationships. I think some people expect it even from strangers, but I think it's unhealthy. Even expectation of that is unhealthy. It kind of takes away the authority of a person, the choice, the agency, the authorship of a person when they rely on someone else too much, or rely on someone else's help too much. So being too helpful, I think, is harmful to others, because they get used to it, and it incapacitates them. It kind of turns them into helpless humans, just like kids in adult bodies. I don't think it's healthy. I think supporting others in their own capabilities, in their own authority, in their own choices, in their own learning, yet not doing everything for them or solving all of their problems. I think that's healthier for those who want to support others. So, but managing that, that's my goal. I'm learning. I have no idea. Like, I'm not perfect at that. I don't know to what degree I will master this skill in my lifetime. I don't know. But how do I love without judgment and not blend with others, not just allow everyone do whatever the hell they want, because that makes me useless. And frankly, I think a lot of, like some, I want to do it gently, some current ideologies, one of the ideology, some ideas that are out there actually makes this principle very visible. So if you allow everyone everything, it doesn't necessarily leads to a good outcome. So, but simultaneously, establishing a certain boundary doesn't mean limiting others or judging them. It's such a nuanced thing that I think people have not figured out yet. I'm figuring it out on a small level just for myself, for my personal relationships. And I think it's also one of the most important questions for women, because we are both wired to care, but also to lose ourselves, like conditioned to lose ourselves. And in that care, I want both. I want to care. I'm not giving that up. Never, ever. But also, I'm working on my boundaries. Because when I don't have boundaries, I'm useless for others. And they may think just getting what they want is a good thing. No, it's not. So I'm not only doing this for myself, I think it's also very much both a good example for others and good skill for others to be a separate, be a human being that builds their own lives, that builds their life with full authorship, without even like making their own choices. They may listen and take something from what I learned from life and build upon it, but the choice should be theirs and the action should be theirs. So that's kind of my philosophy. So this existential loneliness, I barely remember where I started, but this existential loneliness is about this exact direction. So if I'm trying to figure out how to be with people and connect and care, yet maintain boundaries, but it goes beyond current, let's say, historical patterns of how people relate to each other. Way too often I feel misunderstood. It doesn't mean that I'm fully misunderstood, though. A lot of people agree, but agreeing or even trying to understand or even being interested does not necessarily mean heading the same direction. That's the problem. And what I do is, it's hard for the psyche, it's hard it stretches my mind and understanding of things. It is hard for, like, my soul also kind of recalibrates, but I think soul here is the leading part of it. But again, it requires some skill to listen to the right thing within. It's hard for the body, because body, like, integration of new understandings and shifts from collective patterns. So collective pattern is supported by everyone. So let's say, I don't know, if someone breaks up, they, like, it's normal to say, oh, that person is, like, judging a person when you break up with them. It's normal. And if I go with that emotion to any other human being, they will understand. They will say, yeah, they will support. So I will be held in that resentment and judgment of a breakup, saying, yeah, that person did me wrong, yeah. But when I break up and my heart is shattered and I'm in pain, but I still hold love for that person, because that's my goal. Like, both stepping away, recalibrating the relationship, maybe cutting off some essential parts of that relationship, like communication or whatever, but holding love. And I come with that to my friends, and I'm lonely in that. They cannot get it. They cannot share it. They cannot get it. I'm deeply grateful if they don't add up pain by judging me. And again, doesn't mean that they're bad people. They just live in different system of ideas or whatever. And they have a right to. It makes me quite often existentially lonely. Also humble in a way. I learn, this helps me learn how to appreciate baby steps and small things. Just the person, I see the person that I know for decades, and they don't quite get what's going on with me, but they are present just because they care. It means the world. Like, I know, like, that, I think that's even harder than, let's say, for a person who would hypothetically see the world that I do or similar to that, and they will get it without words, without anything. That would be one thing, right? But seeing a person who doesn't quite understand what's going on but is present for me, that's everything. That's, oh my God. And again, it kind of recalibrates the whole perception. I'm like, oh my God, okay, so I appreciate this so much. What does it mean? How do I feel about that? Do I bring that person closer? And then I see, okay, so there's not just one person like that. So I cannot bring everyone that close. I also have this unique blend of practicality. Like, I appreciate very sober, logical, structured, reasonable feedback on things. So it's hard for me. I know there's the whole spectrum of spiritual teachings and people who live through mostly this navigating the world through the loving feeling. But there's a thing. For some reason, I don't fully trust it. It could be me. So this is something that I haven't explored. I think I need to get to know those types of people more to see something, and maybe, again, it will still be kind of distorted perception, because like few people, I cannot talk to all people, right? Everyone is different, but that may give me a little bit more clarity on what feels off when I see a person who is just all light, without any skepticism. I like skeptical people because they bring this friction and polarity, like different opinion that I can sharpen my thought against. So it's either I can clarify things for them easily, or there's some question mark there for me too, and I go deeper into research or whatever, trying to resolve that question mark. So I absolutely love respectful debate, and like, but debate again, not to convince each other, but in a way to dig deeper and think through things and have facts. And I appreciate if the person knows facts and or did their own research or have their own area of interest or their own experience, and we can kind of put everything on the table and say, hey, here's the thing, let's figure out how it works with everything that we have here. That's always fun. And I have another thought about why this loneliness exists. I'm not sure if I want to put it in this video. But it kind of touches upon the it's about my disappointment in humans, which is actually fading, and I'm absolutely, like, I'm thrilled. I'm so happy about it, that this disappointment is fading, because it was getting in the way so much. Disappointment of people because they don't rethink their lives as deep as I do. And I was devastated. I blamed them. I judged the hell out of everyone, like literally humanity. Why would I even bother, picking certain people? Just humanity. I judged humanity because I felt alone in what I do. But then I realized, well, everyone's doing that to a certain degree on their own level for their own lives. Quite a few people are doing very insanely valuable research, and I have, like, all the authors of the books that I have, they are doing their part, and without their work, my work would be impossible. And it's on me that I have built my life the way that I don't have access to certain circles of thinkers. So I didn't prioritize academia simply because I prefer to choose my own curriculum. I prefer to build my own vision. I didn't want to be, it's a strong word, indoctrinated, but I didn't want to be shaped into a certain thing. And so my freedom of my thinking is so important for me that I realized, okay, I will invest in a number of books, I will invest time, money, everything, and I will risk not having credentials because I care about the curation of the information, the depth. Like, I want to dedicate my time, and again, it's not limitless. And if I, let's say, enroll in some education program. That will take my time, but I would rather dedicate it to doing things my way. It's not always the most productive approach. That's my character trait for sure. I prefer everything my way. That is why I'm building the whole philosophy. There is some benefit to it, but there's a downside to it too, and that is the limit of one human being, and I do have limits. So, but as everything that people villainize or reject, there's another side of it. And maybe I am right that I can also choose my like the information that I would like to read and dig deeper into, especially with AI. Maybe it will help me. I don't think it's like the credibility, the trust, like the effort that I will invest into double and triple checking everything that AI tells me, like the accuracy of the information. I'm not sure if that's, well, it solves some problems in some cases. That's accurate and helps. In some cases, books are better. I trust books more. So that is true to a certain degree, but by rejecting the traditional path into academia, I have lost something else, community. Like not lost, but I have never gained it. So my community, my social circle is very different. It's very much not like they're not interested in what I'm interested in. They don't do what I do. They're amazing humans, and it actually tears me apart in so many ways because I truly love them and I want to dedicate time to them, but also I have my life and they cannot share it with me. I have my own interests, they cannot share it with me, and that is my existential loneliness. It wouldn't be that if I, let's say, graduated from some, let's say, top level university with all the top thinkers with the access to all the top thinkers. So that level of community would give me a very different way, a very different sense of self and support. I wouldn't feel alone. But that's, again, it's my own creation. So I had my reasons, I had my reasoning, I made my own choices, I had a certain path in life. That included every choice of the country where I live, choice of priorities, job, financial situation, and management of my finances, everything. So I mean, I am where I am, so I cannot, like, I acknowledge my responsibility in where I am and cannot complain. Like, it is magical as it is now, but yeah, could have I done better than this? I cannot know. I don't think it's possible to know. Coulda, woulda, shoulda, It's not that I had my reasons to make choices that I made, that I'm making. And I don't think it's necessary to analyze it too much. I think it's more like maybe in some context it would be necessary as a part of my reflections and building something on those thoughts. But for now, I don't think, let's say with where I am now and feeling what I feel now, I think the most accurate and relevant question for me is how do I get to the community of thinkers fast enough? And frankly, my answer would be this is where I am on YouTube or something of the sort, like being like getting, like practicing and acquiring skills that will allow me to be visible to a certain group of people who do similar things that I do. And that would help. So that's my plan for now. I don't think there's anything else. However, life is unpredictable. Maybe one day, out of the blue, I will just randomly enroll in some, I don't know, educational program for whatever. I think it could be useful. Actually, people who reject higher education or the systems completely, I think protecting your perception from certain ideas, it's useful. However, discernment that comes from within, you can get both. You can actually discern and accept or do not accept something as truth that you will live by, but you can also go there for the community and for like-minded people, use it more like a social circle, and many wise people do just that. Go to they get degrees, not only for the information or credentials, but mostly for the community. I think for me, if I ever do that, it would be purely for the community. And it breaks my heart simultaneously. You know why? Because libraries are free. And I know from my own experience how drastically things would change for people who have less if they paid attention to questions like this. Not sure what I'm pointing at. I don't mean the topics of these books. I mean questions about how life works and how to build healthier relationships. I think it would have helped people who are in lag, currently in lag. That would have helped them massively. But anyway, I feel like I'm balancing judgment. I'm not judging, but I need to inform. I don't like this word. I want to raise some questions. Based on my own experience and challenges and how I see life. And, do what you want with this. It is such a blessing not to care what people would do with what I produce into the world. It is a pure blessing, honestly, because I do it for me. I care about it and I live it. This is just something that I breathe and I will be thinking about it, and this is just me. And sharing is more like offloading some extra that I have. I have so many of those thoughts. I have so many of those reflections. It's easier for me to analyze them, to work with them when they are out there, like in a digital format. So it's for my work too. However, I'm not attached to changing lives. And I'm so grateful to my own, I don't know, path, philosophy, everything that helped me be here. Because again, it's not that I was born like that. I wanted to be appreciated for my work, appreciated. Now, and again, what's the difference between appreciated and this existential loneliness and the community that I'm seeking, like community of thinkers? But I'm not seeking appreciation. I'm seeking not to think about this alone. Is the difference? They don't have to say, "Oh, Anna, you're so amazing," or "It's all garbage," or "It's good." But I genuinely don't care about either of those evaluations. I care about thinking, and I can, if I go outside and a homeless person helps me think through something that I care about and something that's on my mind, that's a blessing. If tomorrow I will meet a world-class thinker and they will help me think through things, it is a blessing. I mean, to me, it's more of a contribution about like the joy from communication. For me, it depends on how much of togetherness, to like how much of a common progress we're making, the joy of doing something together, something that is so, like, my thoughts are existentially important for me. I cannot not do it. It won't be me. As long as I breathe, this will happen. So doing this together with someone, hopefully one day I will know how it feels, because now, from this moment, it feels like, oh my God, such a joy. And it exists in the world, somewhere out there. So we'll see how life unfolds.